Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuned in to the Impractical Jokers, the Fans podcast. If you turn this podcast off, you made a big, huge mistake. And that's coming from me, Jiggy. So, thanks for listening.
Hello, and welcome to our podcast, the Fans podcast for Impractical Jokers. This is Tiffany.
This is Ashley.
And we have a huge special guest.
Probably one of our most special guests.
Tell us who you are, special guest.
Special guest is all the way from Canada. I don't actually live here, but it's Jiggy here in the flesh via sound.
Jiggy!
Yay!
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's great to be on the airwaves with you. This is like everyone's from all over the place.
Yes.
Yeah, we're
Tiffany, Ashley, you guys can't even get your shit together to be in the same place. I'm in Quebec. We're all over the place.
Yeah, you're like out of the country.
I know.
I'm out of the country. I don't even know if this call is going to cost me like $900.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
You know what? If it does, we will GoFundMe and do what we gotta do here.
We'll start a GoFundMe.
We'll get it all taken care of. I just bought a Bitcoin this week, and I've already lost like half my money, so that's going well for me. Are you guys interested in the Bitcoins?
Not really.
No.
I don't know much about it.
Yeah, me neither. But what I do know is that I'm losing money currently.
Oh, yeah, then I don't want to do it. I don't want to
invest in Bitcoin.
When,
Actually, no, everyone should invest in Bitcoin, and then I'll make my money back.
Will you let me know when it's doing better, and then I'm going to get in that?
Yeah, you gotta, yeah, I don't know. They were like, yeah, it's fake money, and you buy it, and then you make real money. I was like, that sounds perfect.
That sounds like it could not go wrong.
It sounds like a comedian shouldn't dabble in investing. Stick to the jokes. Stick to the jokes, funny man.
Don't quit your day
Stay
job.
out of the Bitcoin.
All right, are you ready for us to play like rapid fire and ask you some questions?
Yeah, lay it on me.
All right, I guess I will go first. Jiggy, what did you do before comedy?
Well, I worked at a golf course.
Say what?
That was like, yeah.
Wait.
I was actually an assistant golf pro for 4 years in Florida.
So you gave the golfers advice?
I used to give lessons. I worked inside of a golf pro shop. I folded clothes. I ordered clothes. I scrubbed golf carts. You know those little guys who drive in the cars and they pick up golf balls in a driving range?
I used to try to hit those.
I raked sand traps. So that when I was starting in comedy, I worked at the golf course in Florida for a hotel. And that was probably the last full-time job I had.
Oh, all right. So you're pretty good at golf.
Not bad. Yeah, not too bad. Not professional level, but good enough to give old geezes some advice.
So, like, my golf game is kind of slacking. Do you think you could help me with that? Like,
you play like miniature golf, or are you on the links?
No,
she's a putter.
No, I have a golf bag. I have my own clubs. I golf. Now, when I golf with my nephew, he says, I'm going to call the golf course, and I'm going to tell them that they don't need to cut the lawn because you're going to come hack it up anyway.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you need a lot of help. I mean, I'm glad you have a golf bag. If you had golf clubs and no golf bag, that'd just be a really adventurous day on the golf course. I got all these clubs and no bag.
So
I just carry all 13 clubs.
Well, that's what the caddy's for, right?
I carry them in my hands.
Let me set my clubs down while I tee off.
Yeah.
Hold on. Could you hold all these? I gotta tee off.
So are you like for hire? I mean, I'm just trying to figure out how to improve my golf game.
Yeah, bring me in. Or are you in Wisconsin, right?
No, we're in Ohio.
Ohio.
Oh, same thing.
Same crappy.
It's all up there.
Yeah.
It's all up there. The Northern Territories, as we call them.
Yeah, so we may have to wait till like
We
may have to wait till like June or July.
I can give you guys a golf lesson, and I can cook. We could do a whole banquet. I can give a golf lesson, cooking with Jiggy, comedy show, event.
I am so down.
So that's been recorded, so you can't take it back.
No, let's set it up.
I totally would.
You can bring your whole crew. I'll bring my crew. You bring your crew.
Okay, write this down so we know what to.
I'm gonna write bring crew.
Yeah.
Bring crew.
We're gonna talk about
bring golf
this.
bag. Bring crew. We'll do a golf lesson, and then I'll do a BBQ comedy show after. Golf lessons, BBQ comedy show, live from Toledo. The beautiful golf courses of Toledo. I didn't even know there was golf courses in Toledo.
Oh, yeah, we got Owens Corning. They have a nice... Well, you know, I've never been golfing, but I have an uncle who golfs a lot, and he says it's nice, so I have no reason not to believe him, I guess.
Well, there we go. Maybe Uncle has a hookup at a golf course, and we'll do a whole banquet situation out there.
He probably does. He's that one family member that's always like, oh, I know a guy.
He definitely doesn't know anyone, though. Oh, yeah, I know a guy.
All right, are you ready for question 2?
Yep.
Okay, so what made you get into comedy from golf?
I liked to be the center of attention, and I thought it would help me get girls, neither of which worked.
What? I think you're the center of attention.
I really thought... Well, no, center of attention, that did work. I just didn't I was into acting and directing, and I like to write, but, I just wanted to be, on stage, and stand-up was an easy way to do that. I really thought that would help me get girls, but that didn't help at all.
That hasn't helped you at all?
You end up hanging out at, weird, when you start off, you're at coffee shops and, bars with, old, men, eating chicken wings and, other comics who are just sad and, there's not, a big, it's not where all the ladies hang out at Joe's Crab Shack for a comedy night.
Well, you know
Wednesday
what?
At 11.
When we have our golf outing barbecue, we'll make sure there's some chicks there, and you can make them laugh.
I kind of feel like there's a Jiggy the Bachelor coming off of this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what, on ABC or just a separate taping?
Just whoever would do it.
Yeah, let's just do your own series.
I'm gonna call Dave Stroop, and I'm gonna, let him know our idea.
Yeah, listen, I know you usually book comedy clubs, but let's get into the TV biz.
Yeah. Will you do a Bachelor show? I'm sure he would.
Yeah,
Jiggy, I think this could work.
You set up, I'll bring the roses.
Yes!
To the golf BBQ comedy show ceremony, and we'll just vote people off of my island as the evening progresses.
Okay,
I'll kick girls off the golf course as I find them not interesting enough. Isn't that how it works on The Bachelor?
Yes. Yeah, close enough.
So now my only question is, and this is Tiffany, just so you don't get us confused, I'm totally single, so can I be one of the girls to, try to get the rose?
Sure, yeah, you can be included.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I'm married, so can I be, your wingman and, give you advice?
Sure, you can be, the guy who hands me the rose. What's the guy's name there? What's his name?
Like the
you
best
can be,
man,
my helper.
I guess. Yeah. Like the caddy, almost, but for flowers.
Yeah, the caddy, the flower caddy, exactly. And we'll have to have a bag for that, too, just like the clubs.
I'll look something up on Pinterest.
A rose bag and a golf bag.
You find anything on Pinterest. Okay, question.
Sorry, I completely zoned out. I was thinking of how I could sabotage all the other women so I could win.
Tiffany's really competitive.
Yeah, don't be getting violent over there. No violence on Jiggy's Bachelor.
Would this be the time to be I have a very stressful job, and
Yeah, Tiffany's a firefighter.
Really?
See, I'm already being a good wingman for you right now. I'm setting it up for you.
How long have you been a firefighter? That's a tough job.
I have been a firefighter for 13 years.
Wow, good for you. My cousin was the first woman firefighter in Boston.
No way.
Yeah, so she's braver than me. It's tough work. I give you guys a lot of credit.
So does that put me? I'm just does that put me higher on the list in the Jiggy Bachelor, or?
Yeah, I mean, I'll automatically put you through to round 2. But
Okay.
let's not get crazy. That's as far as it's gonna go.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, once I get
firefighter cred.
once I get to round 2, I think I can handle it on my own.
Okay.
All right, question 3.
Question 3.
So, how did you meet the?
What was question 2?
How you got into comedy?
Oh, right. Okay, sorry.
You wanted to be considered. Yeah, we got off on the Bachelor tangent. We're sorry. All right. How did you meet the guys?
And by that, we mean the Impractical Jokers.
I met the Impractical Jokers actually through their tour manager. Their tour manager I met down in Florida while I was performing down there. And he saw me perform, and we hung out for a day. We actually played golf.
No way.
Believe it or not, yeah. And he came out and saw me perform. He thought I might be a good fit for these guys. And I honestly didn't really know the show that well. And he thought that I'd be a good fit for their tour. This was like 5 years ago. And a few weeks later, they had a fallout or something. There was an opening for a show in Boston, and the tour manager gave me a call. And I did the show. I was late. I took a megabus, which is like the worst bus on the road. And the bus broke down on the side of the road, and I was like, I'm never going to make this show. It was the biggest show of my life. And I ended up making it just in time, but I didn't get to meet the guys until after the show. And I stood awkwardly on the side of the meet and greet, and James came up to me and he goes, "Thank you so much for being a fan of the show." I'm like, dude, I was the opening act.
Oh no!
It was so funny.
That's
but
really
then,
funny.
We hit it off. We just being an opening act for anyone is really, you have to kind of just be a good hang. Like, you have to get along well. You have to vibe well with whoever you're working with. Usually it's just one other person. But me and the guys we had like a good rapport, and they're obviously very nice, just people on and off the stage, and it just seemed to work. And we've been doing shows together for a while, and they've obviously opened up so many doors for me and just been so supportive of my career and the things I want to do, and just by giving me the stage time on these like huge shows has been such a great part of my stand-up career.
That is awesome. I just like how laid back they are and just like, hey, do you. I love it.
So, the next question number 4. We saw the video of when they made you dance on the stage instead of tell jokes.
Yes, the infamous popcorn dance.
Yes. So we're wondering, like, what was going through your head, and how did they come up with that? What were you thinking while you were on stage?
Well, I'll give you the full backstory. That was on James's birthday, and we went to his favorite restaurant. You know his favorite restaurant?
Red Lobster.
We went to Red Lobster, and Brian just couldn't get this song out of his head. It's like a 1970s instrumental called the Popcorn Song, and he couldn't get it out of his head, and he was doing it in the van. All of us were in the van going back to the hotel before the show, and as a birthday present, they're like, "Jig, we dare you to go out and do no jokes tonight and just dance to this popcorn song." So they downloaded it, they sent it to the venue put it on the playlist, they wrote an intro for me, and I was freaking out. Like, I've performed everywhere, like, with them, and huge crowds, and doing stand-up is usually people's biggest fear, but I was terrified to do this show. I was terrified. I was like, there was 3,000 people, none of them really know me, and I had to go out there and literally just do that dance, which you saw, and luckily we put the camera out on stage, and I was able to get the footage from the guys' phones as they were taking some video clips, and it turned into like a pretty fun video, but it was terrifying, definitely.
I just love at the end when you grab the pillow and get the mic and you're like, Jiggy, out.
Well, it's funny, the pillow actually came as like a necessity because I told the stage manager. So the tour manager obviously works for the tour. He's like our person. But like stage manager works for the venue. Mm-hmm. So I had to ask the stage manager, I'm like, hey, just FYI, I'm going to drop the mic at the end of this performance. And he's like, don't do that. I was like, why? I will be funny. He goes, you'll break the mic, and those mics are like $500, and we'll charge the tour if you break it. I was like, oh, crap. So I was like, do you have anything that I could like, drop it on? And we had to go find the back warehouse in their like stage production house some pillow that I like wrapped in a pillow sheet, or wasn't even like a real pillowcase, and I kept it off stage, which actually became like, I thought it was even funnier that I did that.
Yes.
Because it made the moment, it dragged out that moment. Like everyone thought it was over, and then, but you know, no one even really laughed. It was just really for the guys.
Yeah.
So like when you were dancing, do you just like, I'm just gonna do whatever comes to mind? Like,
I just completely winged it and like just did every move that I could possibly think of, knowing that I am literally doing a joke in front of 3,000 people for 4 people.
Oh,
I'm dying on stage for 4 people, and 3,000 people have no idea what's going on.
They're just
totally worth it.
scratching their heads.
You totally killed it.
Yeah, you did good.
It was fun. There's some people from the cruise, I think, who actually were at that show who came up and talked to me, and like finally saw me perform stand-up on the Impractical Jokers cruise for the first time. Like, oh man, you actually do tell jokes.
We just thought you came and danced.
We just thought you were just like the weird dancer.
Weird dancer.
You poor thing. Well, you have the Ashley and Tiffany stamp of approval. You killed it.
I thought you did great.
Thanks.
All right.
Okay, question
Do you
5.
have a favorite punishment and or challenge from the show?
Man, favorite challenge is always tough because I always like when anytime they have to do any type of presentation that is set up by the other guys.
Yeah.
I think that's their best work. Like when they put together the slides in front of like these people, to me that really is seeing them try to hold it together in like a PowerPoint is I think those are my favorite challenges. As far as punishments go, man, that's tough. My favorite punishment. I mean Sal when they hit his keys in the garbage hump.
Oh, that was a good one.
That was pretty funny. Just because like it was so he's like really a germaphobe, so it's like to see him have to go through that, I just know that was like really killing him inside.
They tailored that one good
that's
to
one
him.
that sticks out for me.
Yeah.
Okay, this next question might be really hard. We ask anyone that has come to interview on the podcast, we ask this question, and I know they hate answering it. So, who's your favorite Joker?
I never answer that question. I'll go deeper though, because it's different than that for me. Like, it's really all 4 guys are the same age, and they are all best friends, but they couldn't be more different. And I mean that affectionately. They all are like, you almost separately, you would never think they were all best friends.
Absolutely, I could see that.
Because they're very, very different. So like, you know, James is very much, he's kind of like the business mind of the group. Like, he's very smart with like TV, and I go to him for, you know, my aspirations in like TV and film, and you know, just business savvy in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Joe is like everyone's, including my like big brother type figure. Like, you go to him for like advice. He's like a catch-all for like everything, as far as like, he's just very informed in like all situations, and he feels like the big brother to the group. That's the way that I see, and also to myself. And then Sal, like he's you know, trying and doing very well with stand-up, and so for the past few years, like, just being able to do things with him on a stand-up level is like our own little thing. And then Brian is kind of like different from everyone, is like has his own interests in like comic books and wrestling and his own podcast, and like we've had so many fun afternoons and nights together just like doing that whole thing. So I don't have a favorite. It's just I think they all bring something a little different to the table, and I think that's why the show is so great, and that's why I think I like them and value them as like, you know, friends.
Very good and diplomatic answer.
I love it. Well, he's right too. Like, they are all so different. Yeah. Good answer.
A+. Okay. I think that's the next one.
How did Jiggy and Joe in bathrobes come to be?
That's a good question. Well, it really came from after, from touring for over the years. Like, people have always asked, like, what do you guys do after the shows? Like, I think the perception is that we all go, I don't know, maybe not nightclubs, but, like, people think that the after party is some raging thing. And, like, after all the shows I've done, honestly, most of the nights we just come back and hang out or watch a movie or, like, and especially with Joe, like, we'll just hang out and talk. So, like, we decided to, like, show people what we do, and, like, we got our hotel robes that we just wanted to show and just talk about, like, things other than the television show or the live show and just answer random questions. And I think people started to like it, and we've done a live version of it. We did a live version of it in Dublin, which was really fun. And then we've done, like, a handful of episodes, and it's always, whenever I go on tour now, I hope that we have time or, like, it works out where we can do it.
All right.
You guys should do that on the next cruise, like a live version. That'd be cool.
We talked about it on the cruise, like, that we should do a robe night, or, like, I don't know how it came up. I think he said, oh, maybe I'll introduce you on the showcase show in a robe, and we'll come out in robes. I thought it was funny, but it didn't work out that night. But, like, if I'm on the next cruise, that would be a fun, just, like, evening of, like, just do a Jiggy and Joe in robes, which would be fun.
If he's on the next cruise, we gotta make shirts and, like, start channeling to get Jiggy on the next cruise.
Oh, I'm on it.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so, yeah.
Well, we're gonna make shirts and stuff.
We're gonna rally. Okay, question number 8. Can you tell us about cooking with Jiggy?
Yeah, cooking with Jiggy, I mean, aside from stand-up, I mean, cooking is one of my passions. I don't know if passions is the right word. I just, like, I really enjoy to cook, and it's kind of like this, like, big world of, like, mystery. Like, I don't know, I'm, like, drawn to it. My family was in the restaurant business. They owned restaurants growing up, and I'm kind of fascinated by cooking, so I don't know, I just wanted to put cooking and comedy together. Like, I don't tell jokes, and, like, I'm not really over the top. I just wanted to let people into my world of, like, cooking random things I'm trying out, and I think people have liked kind of, like, some of the mishaps along the way, and I'm trying to develop that. It's kind of like an offshoot of that concept into a television series, but it would be a fraction of what we're doing with the live cooking with Jiggy. But really, it's just for me. It's a thing. I just like to cook. I love to have people be a part of it, and yeah, I think that the origin of it is just really cooking with my family growing up and just trying to get back into it.
What's the best thing that you cook?
Probably Italian food. I think I have, like, a knack for Italian cooking, just because my mom's Italian and my dad owned an Italian restaurant, so, like, that food seems like the most familiar to me, so it's the easiest to, like, pull off without having to do, like, all this research and recipes and stuff. So yeah, I think that'd be my favorite.
Yeah, I come from an Italian family too, and I would say that when I cook, probably Italian food is the easiest for me.
Yeah.
Definitely understand that.
And overall, it's relatively easy too. A lot of the stuff you don't have to get too wild with, but there is a lot of things you can get. It's pretty intricate, but simple stuff you can do too.
Yeah.
So, just to go back to the whole Jiggy Bachelor thing, single ladies, if you're listening, not only is he funny, not only is he friendly, not only is he dependable because he did this interview for us, also, he can cook. So, just remember that.
Ladies, throw your panties.
The triple threat.
The triple threat.
I'm just trying to be a good wing woman here.
She just told people to throw their panties at you. Look out.
If women throw their panties, I'm really sorry. That's gross.
Has that ever happened to you, by the way?
What?
Has that ever happened to you, by the way?
What, throwing panties on stage?
Yes.
I don't think so, but that's also something that never happens in comedy. No one's ever like, yeah, my jokes, and then people, like, throw their bras on stage.
It's not a rock concert.
I I was just
curious. I don't think there's any joke that we're just like, you know what? If he tells this joke, I'm taking my bra off. If he tells that joke, these panties are coming off.
I think you need to find that joke.
Jiggy, you need to find that joke.
Yeah.
Because if I'm ever at a show, I may just do it.
If someone, I swear to God, if someone's listening to this and they're at the Cleveland show or the Buffalo or Syracuse show coming up, and someone throws their panties or bra on stage, it would be hilarious because I would obviously talk about it. And so, yeah. I mean, there's got to be one girl listening to this who's going to go to one of those shows, probably.
So you're inviting panty throwing.
If it happens, it would be very funny.
Okay.
All right, ladies.
It's almost how, like, ironic it would be. It would just be funny. So, yeah, if a girl did it, I would definitely make a joke out of it. But don't get kicked out of the show for it.
All right, what's your favorite color?
Royal blue.
All right. Oh, that's my favorite color.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
So, ladies, okay, like, you've heard the triple threat. Now, royal blue underwear. I'm just saying, slingshot it.
Slingshot from the Raptors.
All right, we're moving on. All right, so this one I'm really excited to hear about. Tell us about Madison Square Garden. Like, how are you feeling? How did you get to be the opening act? I mean, how is it to see your friends play a sold-out crowd at Madison Square Garden?
Well, I'll start. I really didn't know that I was opening until 3 days before.
Wow.
It was after the cruise, and I knew about the show from the time they booked it. I was so proud that that was something that was on their radar as like a goal or aspiration for years, and especially as like New Yorkers. So when they booked that was like so incredible. And then the guys told me when we got back to New Orleans, they said they wanted to tell me in person, and they did, and it was I mean, it's kind of like an emotional thing, I guess. As a performer, it doesn't really get much bigger than that, and for them, that's like their big night. It was all about them. It was their night, you know what I mean? But just to be a part of it and be there was very special for me, and something that I'll never forget. So I was terrified but honored to do it. And then once I got there, everything is just bigger. We've played arenas and we've done theaters. I've done everything with them, but like this was just different. It was in New York, where we live. It's like the biggest, most recognizable venue in the world, arguably. So everything had a different feel, and I was very nervous, and I was pacing around, and I was just like, God, I just want to get up on the stage because I'm freaking myself out. And then once I got up there, I felt good. Once I took the mic, it became like I kind of like blacked out, to be honest. I just kind of like blacked out, and I just did it. And it was great, and I got to sit back and enjoy the show. I got to watch the guys do their thing and become an audience member, and they did great. And it was just a very, very, very special night.
Well, 3 days doesn't give you a long time to be nervous,
right?
No, but it was long enough to like think about every scenario, and like I was like, man, I really don't want to screw this up. But honestly, the hardest part was coming up with what bits to do, because you gotta kind of appeal to a mass audience. It's such a big audience, such a big deal. You don't. What jokes are you gonna do? So I really kind of like poured over that, and I came up with a set list that I liked, and then I just went with it and tried to nail it.
Well, not just that, but being exhausted from the cruise.
Yeah, getting off that cruise boat, I was like, God, I need a couple days to like chill, and then to come right back. I mean, I was fine. I was energized by the opportunity. Trust me. So I was good to go, but it was a long week for sure.
Like, I was on the cruise. I don't know about you, but I don't think I slept more than like 3 hours a night. Did you guys sleep at all?
I got a little bit of sleep on the cruise. I was going to bed like pretty late, and then there was something about the boat. Maybe it was like the motion, or like just having the sun pour in the morning. But I was like up early, going to bed, and I felt good. I like, it was very strange. Like every day, I was like very energized, but I was like exhausted as well. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but I was getting no sleep, but felt great.
That's all that adrenaline.
Ashley's a little bitter about some points of the cruise because she wasn't on it, and I think the most thing was I was involved in that group that got to sing Bye 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 with Joey Fatone that last night.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool.
She's pretty bitter about that. Tell her it wasn't that big of a deal. Like, you were on stage, you and I were singing together. Tell her it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah, it wasn't that big of a deal. It wasn't like we were singing, like, with, like, a major pop group from, like, the 90s and, like, our childhood heroes or anything.
Okay, moving on. So,
last question.
Last question, pretty easy. So, is there anything that you want to promote on the podcast? Your Twitter handle, Facebook fan page, Instagram, upcoming tour, your, cooking with Jiggy, if you're trying to get that going. Here's your chance to kind of put yourself out there.
Yeah, sure. I mean, all my social media stuff is all the same. It's at Jiggy Comedy, Jiggy comedy, so everything's on there. Follow me on Instagram. Is probably I'm the most active on, so if you want to follow me on Instagram, and that's where I do my Cooking with Jiggy episodes as well, on Wednesdays through the rest of the year. And then also, if you want to be my pen pal address, you can hit me up on Instagram. You can send me a DM on Instagram, and I send everyone my office address to be my pen pal. And so I write everyone back, and I got like pen pals from all over the world, and it's a lot of fun. People send me like little treats and candies, and I send stuff back, and
that's
we go back
awesome.
and forth. And it's one of the cooler things I think I do, or I mean more unique things, I guess. I don't know many people who are doing it in comedy, and I really, really like to do it. So if you follow me on Instagram already, or if you're new to my Instagram, just DM me, and I'll send you my office address, and we can start pen pal back and forth, and it's a lot of fun.
All right, so drop that Instagram name one more time so we can make sure people get it.
That's at Jiggy Comedy, Jiggy Comedy.
Okay, before we send these people away, we'll chat with you just for a second when we're done, when we're stopped recording. But do you want to send them off, send our listeners off?
Oh, yeah, I'll send them off. Thanks for listening to the Impractical Jokers, the Fans podcast. And save it on whatever this gets released on.
iTunes.
So save it. iTunes, yeah. So, right click or whatever click you have to do to save it. And tell a friend. So then you can have a friend. You're like a friend, a fan. You get it. Just save it.
You nailed it right on the head.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Jiggy.
Bye.